Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regular meeting of council for November 28th, 2022. We acknowledge that the city of Fernie is located within Yakinikliit. Located within Kukinamakis, the unceded traditional territory of Yakinikliit. We recognize that we live and work within their vast lands. Akanahunik are from Yakinikliit and are members of the Tanaha-speaking peoples of British Columbia, Idaho, and Montana. At this point, I'd like to hand it over to Director Jansen to introduce a new member of staff.
Good evening, Your Worship. I'm here to introduce our newest member of the team at City Fernie, Chantal Chown. She's joining us this evening. Chantal is our new business analyst. She's the first person in that role for the City of Fernie. She's got a solid foundation in education with a management degree from U of L and a business administration diploma in marketing and supply chain management at Lethbridge College. And more recently, has delved into a business analyst certificate has completed that from Royal Road several years ago. Chantal's been working as an analyst for several years in the private sector based out of the Calgary area. She's been leading transformation strategies with a specialization in modern workplace solutions. She really brings a wealth of knowledge and experience in successfully implementing business improvement initiatives and stakeholder management. She's been with us just a couple of weeks here, and I've seen her pick up and run with several projects and initiatives, specifically our fairly disruptive Microsoft 365 email migration project that's touched every employee in our organization. I saw her pick that up with confidence and success. She's a positive and encouraging change management leader, and we're very lucky to have her join our team. I'll just hand it over to Chantal if she wants to say a word or two.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm really excited to be joining the City of Fernie. It's a place that I really love, and I'm really happy that I was able to relocate to Fernie. And I do really look forward to working with all of you guys to just help improve efficiencies and collaboration within the organization through using technology and improving business processes, as well as being able to help support the community that I live in. So thanks again.
Thank you, Chantal, and Director Jansen and Chantal. You've certainly been a huge support with the Director Jansen mentioned the email migration, because it has been nothing if not disruptive, and you've been a great resource to everybody. So thank you for that. I'll now call this meeting to order. This meeting is being conducted by in-person electronic means in accordance with Council Procedure Bylaw number 2446. The communications link and specified place that if the communications link to the specified place for this meeting is interrupted and cannot be restored within 15 minutes, the meeting shall be adjourned and reconvened to the soonest possible time that quorum can be achieved and public notice requirements met. And with that,
Councilor Johnson.
Oh, I can, yeah. Jeez. Councilor Nixon. All in favor? Thank you. I'll hand it over to Mr. McConnell.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor-elect McIsaac, would you do me the favor of standing up and then reading that top document, please? And thank you.
I've shuffled the paper pages.
So this is the top one.
This one? Yeah. Sure, I'd be happy to. I, Kevin McIsaac, do solemnly affirm that I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the corporation for the City of Fernie, to which I have been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the community charter in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration. I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
Thank you, Councillor McIsaac. Thank you, Pen.
Thank you. And thank you all for your patience and
Excellent. So now I will ask for a motion to approve or adopt the agenda. Councillor Hamilton, Councillor McIsaac, the first motion, all in favor? Excellent, that passed. Can I ask for a resolution to adopt the minutes of the inaugural meeting of council held on November 1st, 2022? Councillor Ramadas, any discussion on those minutes? All in favor? Thank you, that's passed. And can I ask for a resolution to adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting held on November 14th, 2020? Councillor Kelly, Councillor Ramadas, any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. I will now invite public participation. I invite the public in attendance or participating electronically who wish to comment on items listed on the meeting agenda in accordance with section 3(7)(3) of the procedure bylaw to address council, excluding matters for which speakers must not address council regarding a matter for which a public hearing must be held or has been held pursuant to the Local Government Act prior to council's consideration of the matter or adoption of the bylaw. Speakers must not address council regarding a permit for which public notice must be given or has been given pursuant to the Local Government Act prior to council's consideration of issuance of the permit. And the speaker may only address council for a maximum of 3 minutes. And I will open the floor for public participation.
Director Brady's put his hand up. I think on behalf of the council of the specified place.
Director Bird, thank you. Does a member of the public want to address council from the specified place?
Yes, I believe so.
Please go ahead. You have 3 minutes. Please, and
Yeah.
sorry, there's a requirement to identify yourself and your civic address.
Yeah.
Please.
We can't hear you there, Mr. Burdick.
I believe it's providing direction to individual.
patience.
I think the gentleman would like to say something.
Could you please provide your name and your civic address, and then you have 3 minutes to address council?
My civic address. Oh, geez. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared to be able to address council. I was just concerned with the timelines that were on the agenda here, considering the time of year it is, and the scope of the work to be done. What can I say? It's basically impossible for this all to happen in the next 2 months. So I guess bottom line is it's going to take more time than what has been allotted here. and also the scope of the work and of the materials that have to be moved are way beyond a matter of unsightliness. I am running a business out of that property because it was a business property till the city took over West Fernie. And so I mean, I've been there 40 years. And it's expected that things are going to change like with the snap of a finger. Which, I mean, it's my livelihood, it's my life there. And it's all, there's no garbage there. It's materials, it's stuff in the line of my contracting and work. So I'm just asking that a council consider these things in their recommendations and in their enforcement of the bylaw, I guess. So thank you. And we'll see what comes.
If I may, Your Worship. I don't believe we got the gentleman's name, but I'd like to confirm that it's Mr. Frank Pelosio who is speaking. Is that correct?
My hearing isn't very good.
He wants you to confirm that your name is Frank Pelosio, is that right?
Yes, I'm Frank Pelosio.
I know you're speaking to item number 9.2 with respect to Coldclough Avenue.
You're speaking with respect to Coldclough Avenue.
It's regarding the properties at Coldclough Avenue, right? 1040 and 1080, whatever it is.
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Pelosio.
Somebody else.
Is there anybody else who would wish to address council? Seeing none?
I don't see the hands up, Your Worship.
No, thank you. We'll move on to item number 9.1, and I'll hand it over to, again, corporate officer McCollum.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I apologize. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation for my recommendation for council tonight, but all of it contained would be the recommendation itself. This is simply a matter that I've asked council to consider with respect to ensuring that in the event of one of the legislative required officers is absent for more than 5 days, that council confirms the goal is to have the deputy act in their stead. You'll see the resolution say that in the absence of the corporate officer or in the absence of the financial officer for more than 5 business days, then their deputy would be the ones authorized to act. Now, the act does say that a deputy does have the same powers, but this is more of a longer term absence that we're discussing. So that way, if a longer term absence happened, they wouldn't have to wait until another council meeting for it to be confirmed that the deputies are acting. So I'm subject to questions that council may have. I'm prepared to read the recommendations.
I have one question to your worship to staff. What would be the protocol of the process if the corporate officer or financial officer was away, but then for some circumstance, the deputy director is then also away? What would be kind of step 3?
At that point, Your Worship, the response would be that we have to come to council to designate somebody to act.
Any other questions? Recommendations.
Sure, there are 2 recommendations. I'll read them individually, if that's okay. That in the absence of the corporate officer for any consecutive period in excess of 5 business days, the deputy clerk is hereby designated to act in the place of the corporate officer for the period of such absence.
Councilor Nixon, Councilor Hamilton. All in favor?
And the second one is that in the absence of a financial officer for any consecutive period in excess of 5 business days, the Deputy Director of Finance is hereby designated to act in the place of the financial officer for the period of such absence.
Councilor Hamilton, Councilor McIsaac. All in favor? Thank you. Moving on to item 9.2. Request for remedial action order. We have a report from Bylaw Services from Bylaw Enforcement Officer Leach.
Thank you, Your Worship, members of the council. I believe each one of you has had a package regarding 2 properties. Property is 1040, 1080 Copal Avenue in regards to the unsightly property. So the purpose of this is to seek council's approval for the remedial action order for the properties 1040 and 1080 Copal Avenue in relation to the community standards. Yes, sir.
Sorry, is there a PowerPoint presentation to accompany your?
There is.
This has it.
Oh, okay.
Your Worship, I'm actually unable to open this presentation. I believe that Bylaw Officer Leach is locked in it and it's not letting me open it. So just one moment.
Thank you. You were worried about technology and now look at that.
Right.
Ms. Rhodes, I can open it as a read-only copy. Do you want me to open it and share from mine?
That would be excellent. I did just get it to open. I'm just seeing if I can get it to share for you here.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. The property is 1040, 1080 Copal Avenue. Okay, let me do that. So this report is to seek council's approval for a remedial action order for the property 1040, 1080 Copal Avenue in relation to the Community Standards Bylaw 2456, 2022. Part 3, Division 12, Section 74 of the Community Charter. Properties 1040 and 1080 Copal Avenue have been identified as unsightly. Officer Kramer and myself have done several site inspections, taken several photographs to confirm that the properties do meet the definition of the unsightly under the Community Standards Bylaw 2456. Attempts to have the owner of the property clean and remove debris have not been successful to date. So a little bit of background. 2016, the Regional District of the East Kootenays placed a court order on the owner to clean up 1080 Copal Avenue. No action was taken by the Regional District, however, to rectify the unsightly property. It was shortly after that it was switched over to City of Fernie. 2018, public concerns were sent to the city of the Fernie Bylaw Enforcement Department regarding the unsightly property, 1040 and 1080 Copal Avenue. The owner was contacted by the bylaw enforcement officers by phone, registered mail, and in person. Properties remain in non-compliance. The attempts to gain compliance by myself and Officer Kramer include May 5th, 2022, a general letter was sent by Canada Post to the owner of the property with no response. June 3rd, 22, general mail again, sent to the homeowner, no response. Officer Kramer and myself did go down to the property in between and speak with the property owner. We did go through the totality of the situation. We walked to the property and we educated him on what is unsightly, according to the Bylaw Standards Act. So July 28th, 2022, we sent by registered mail, a letter to the owner of the property, informing him that due to the non-compliance, we were going to be moving forward seeking remedial action. The letter was returned back to the city with no response from the property owner. August 17th, Officer Kramer and myself personally located the property owner and gave him the letter regarding the properties. Moving forward, recommended to council, you are, there's 3 options. So option 1 is issue the municipal ticket and allow the property owner an additional 30 days to comply. Option 2, continue to monitor and allow additional time to comply. Option 3, move forward with remedial action. Staff recommends remedial action due to the totality of the situation and the background history of non-compliance. We do request that the compliance date of January 18, 2023, because the homeowner has had several years to clean up the property and has failed to do so. If the owner of the property fails to come into compliance, we request the council direct its employees, agents, and contractors to fulfill the requirements of the remedial action requirement at the property at the owner's expense. The property owner shall be given the opportunity to appeal within 14 days of being provided of the remedial action requirements. Thank you very much, Your Worship, Council.
Thank you, Officer Leach.
Questions?
Any questions for Officer Leach?
Do we know how long the owner of the property, or through the mayor to staff, do we know how long the property owner has been operating his business out of that area?
We were not aware that he was operating a business out of that area until tonight.
Councilor Allen.
Through your worship to staff, if the decision is appealed, who adjudicates or hears that appeal?
If I may take that.
Please.
So the process is one that council makes a decision tonight. If it chooses to issue the order, the individual has 14 days to file an appeal, and the appeal comes to council. It is a bit weird that you are the ones making the determination tonight, but the appeal would come to you first. And then any further appeals would be whatever might be available to him in legal matters, but again, those are limited.
Another question, if we go ahead with the remedial action and staff or contractors or whomever is there cleaning up the site, discover hazardous materials, notice a bunch of buckets with who knows what may have been in it. What's the process then to A, protect staff, and B, maintain environmental integrity of the site?
If I may, and it might be possible that CEO Barnowski may wish to speak to this as well. However, we did talk about the process we would use to, if we went so far as to actually be the ones cleaning up the site, that we would probably use a third-party contractor to do the work. And then obviously the third-party contractor would be the one who'd have to work on that and ensure that they're working in a safe environment. That would be part of the arrangement. And clearly any additional costs in recovering and dealing with that would then become part of the overall cost recovery we'd be seeking from the project.
Thank you.
So just to clarify that if it were a contractor, they would have to provide the city with a safe work plan before proceeding with the work.
That is correct, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Through the relevant staff, how have other similar situations been handled?
Officer Leach, can you?
This is actually the first one that we're moving forward with. We did have one other property, however, they've been working towards coming into compliance. So as it stands, this is, like I said, it's our first in moving forward to seek remedial action.
Thank you, Worship. I think that's, these types of properties have been dealt with long ago in the past, but I think it's the first one since the language in the bylaw was changed. Am I correct in that? Because wasn't on some work done on this about 2 or 3 years ago? Some language in this particular bylaw was changed because of shortcomings with how unsightly premises stuff were dealt with in the past.
Yes, that would be correct.
Thank you. So it's not that we never, the city has not dealt with it, but since the bylaw has been updated.
So just to clarify, this is the first situation since the bylaw has been amended.
That is correct.
One more question. For Mayor Milligan, what is the zoning of the property?
The zoning is residential.
Director Lennox?
Councillor Kelly, the zoning was undertaken during the restructuring process when West Fernie came into the city. And the zoning is low density residential West Fernie, which is consistent with the residential mixed use land use designation that it has in the OCP.
Thanks, Director Lennox.
Any further questions?
Are you looking at me to read this now?
Please, Mr. McDonald.
Before I read that, I want to make sure that option one was going to be the one pursued, or the option that was, I can't call it option one, but the actual recommendation is going to be the one.
Well,
pursued.
that's really why I was looking at, there were three options
Right, so
and one recommendation.
So it wouldn't be a bad idea for council to confirm that they'd like to move that recommendation potentially, in which case I'd like to read it,
I'll move option 3,
which is,
the staff recommendation.
I'll second it.
okay, so with that, your worship. So the staff recommendation, which has been moved and seconded, is pursuant to sections 8 sub 3, 16, and 17 of the Community Charter SPC 2003, chapter 26. The Council of the Corporation of the City of Fernie hereby imposes the following remedial action requirement. The owner or occupier of parcel identifier 015885381, lot 1A, block 4, district lot 5455, Kootenai District Plan 1613, 1040 Colclough Avenue, Fernie, British Columbia, and parcel identifier 015885399, north half of lot 2, block 4, district lot 5455, Kootenai District Plan 1613, 1080 Colclough Avenue, Fernie, British Columbia. The property is hereby ordered to remediate the property and to bring the property into compliance with the Corporation of the City of Fernie Community Standards Bylaw 2456/2022 by way of removing from the property the following items: 1080 Colclough Avenue, plywood, lumber, wooden forms, piles of lumber, metal pipes, metal frames, metal fencing, metal shelving, all fabricated in loose steel, gauge wire, metal barrels, paint cans, rebar, plastic buckets, plastic pipes, plastic chairs, plastic bins, toolbox, old roofing material, wheelbarrows, pieces of tin, wiring, concrete slabs, iron items, hoses, non-working equipment, small excavator, windows, tires, lawnmowers. 1040 Colclough Avenue, canoe on unhitched trailer, asphalt roofing, cement blocks, sheets of plywood and assorted lumber, lawnmowers, quads, cement slabs, roofing tin, lumber, machine parts, metal frames, on or before 4 p.m. January 18th, 2022, on or before 4 p.m. on January 18th, 2023, and that should the owner or occupier of the property fail to remediate the property by way of removal of the aforesaid items by such date and time, the Corporation of the City of Fernie may by its employees, agents, or contractors enter the property, remove the aforesaid items at the cost and expense of the owner of the property, and that if the owner of the property fails to pay such costs and expenses by December 31st of the year in which such removal is effected, such costs and expenses be deemed to be property taxes in arrears and be levied against the property.
Thank you, Mr. McCollum. Councilman McGuire.
Thank you, Worship. I support the resolution, but I would like to council to consider an amendment. And that is considering the time of year, we're about to get 3 feet of snow here before the end of the week. Cleaning up that property is going to become not just challenging, but potentially unsafe through the course of the season. And while I do think this property is an eyesore, it has been for a long time and does need to be cleaned up. I think it should be done during a time of year when it is more suitable and safer to all members involved. And I would propose that we move this, but we move the date up until and give the owner of the property some time in the spring. So perhaps, staff might be better positioned to pick a particular date, but something by the end of May or something like that, that would give the owner of the property probably a good month of snow-free time to clean up the property appropriately.
Thank you, Your Worship. I appreciate this motion on the floor. In order for us to advance it, I would suggest to the councillor that we would want an actual fixed date, and we can have a seconder of that amendment so that we can then discuss the amendment.
In that case, I'll amend that the motion that's on the table, the date for the timeline be amended to May 30th of 2023.
Can I get a mover for the amendment and a seconder?
You've got to move it. So second.
Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Any further discussion?
On the amendment.
Yes.
On the amendment? Councillor Schuster.
Your worship, it seems to me, through no fault of his own and through changes brought about at the municipal level and bigger, he's went from a situation where he's been working there for decades and decades and nothing else changed other than West Fernie getting rolled in and a new set of rules being changed. So I think we should definitely consider that we put this guy in a very, very hard spot. And I certainly agree with Mr. Isaac on the concern about the snow and asking him to do that for sure. So I'm just speaking my support on that.
Okay, well, thank you, Councillor Schuster. I do think it's worth noting though that the correspondence on this issue goes back it goes back 6 years to 2016 with the RDK, and
Correct.
not just post rolling the property into the city of Fernie. So I think it's fair to acknowledge that from Officer Leach's report as well. Any other discussion on the amended amendment? I will call the vote
On the amendment.
on the amendment. All in favor?
And then we call the vote on the original resolution. We just didn't approve the amendment.
Okay, now I will call the vote on the original resolution
As amended.
as amended. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. And I do want to comment that these decisions and hearing the discussion, these decisions are not made by council or by staff. So thank you for all the work and yeah, appreciate everybody's input. I'm sorry.
Didn't highlight that in 10, I apologies.
Yeah, that's okay. Apology accepted. Item 10, correspondence. Any questions, any observations about item 10? No, seeing none, we'll move on to item 11. Reports from council members. Start with Councilor Hammond.
Oh, it's been a while since I've had the opportunity to do a council report. But I'm not going to go through everything that's been happened since the last council report, because that would be rather onerous. So I'm just excited for this new council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ramirez.
Got a few to add to this meeting. I missed a couple of them last time, so I want to make up for it. Last couple of weeks, met with a couple of business owners. One of the things that has come out pretty strongly with those individuals was their concern about worker accommodation in the town. So there were some really good ideas coming from a couple of folks. Was a good order of discussions with them. As you know, I also work at tech, so I had an opportunity to sit in on a presentation internally at tech on advances made with respect to fish habitat improvements and selenium control within tech. While I will continue to be mindful of conflict of interest, and if there is any tech file coming up, I plan to recuse myself. I should say that I was pleased to see some positive results coming through some of the work that tech has been doing. And I'm really looking forward to the presentation to the council on whatever they I can't remember exactly what the date was, December 17th, I believe. 19th, yes. That's right. So that was really good. Pretty excited for that. And last but not least, Elk Valley Streak is up in January, formerly called Fernie Streak. So it's basically the idea is half an hour of outdoor time every day in the month of January, and the proceeds will go to a charity called Upstart. I believe they work on mental health issues. I urge the city team and people attending the call to check out their mission statement and get moving in the month of January.
Thank you, Councilor Ramirez. Councilor McIsaac.
Thank you, Worship. I guess I'd like to say, first of all, I'm really sorry to have missed out on the first few weeks of this new council. Unfortunately, a holiday planned over a year ago, and catching the notorious head cold going around has kept me away for the last few weeks. But I'm very excited to be back. I'm very much looking forward to working with the new councils with some old and new faces, and looking forward to the ongoing good work that's been going on in the city and the upcoming challenges ahead.
Thank you.
Mayor Megan, I don't have a lot to report, and I continue to attend hockey games. I mean, there's been some mixed success there. I'm happy to see Councillor McIsaac. It's great to see you, and hopefully those old faces you were referring to wasn't mine.
That was mine.
And like everyone else, I'm really excited for our council, and I think we can achieve a lot. And I've been reading 4 books from Councillor Hamilton. I'm ready for the 3rd one now.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Nixon.
Thank you, Worship. I not too much to report. Friday night was fun in the downtown area. There was lots of popping and even some fireworks. It seemed like the whole town was downtown on Friday night. It was a great night. So that's about it. And also to Fernie Street / Elk Valley Street. Get out there January 1st and go do it. Lots of fun.
Excellent.
Would you have said there was plenty of undampened enthusiasm?
Yes.
It was damp.
Nice.
Awesome.
But it was still enthusiasm.
The fireworks were spectacular.
Councilor Schuster.
Yeah, not a ton to report. I definitely made my way out Friday night to go sort of hit the streets and just chat with people about the state of the town and things. And I definitely have been hearing a lot of good feedback about things like the polling so far, and about our new council. I think people are pretty optimistic. Nice to hear.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And for me, so I also attended, I don't know if this was the meeting you were referring to, Councilor Ramirez, the virtual water quality open house on the 30th, which was open to the public. It was very interesting and informative and quite optimistic. And I was I was encouraged, the company's R&D program is embarking on a path inspired by the notion of mining without water treatment, which, as I think the water scientist, Dr. Liz Karpachewski said, it's a big, hairy, audacious goal, but I think it's the right goal for the Elk Valley, and I was pleased to hear that. Last week I met with local reps from the BC Ambulance Service, had a great conversation with them to understand their role in the community and some of their challenges and constraints and changes to their service delivery model. That was a very informative session for which I'm grateful. I also attended on Friday night. I got to share the stage with the Grizz and Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and that was yes, lots of undampened enthusiasm. Well done. I attended the Elk Valley Métis Christmas gathering on Saturday night, and that was a very, very welcoming group. They held their celebration at the senior center, and it was a really lovely experience, not least of all to see people who were new to that community just discovering late in life their Métis heritage and embracing their Métis heritage and being welcomed into that community. I thought was pretty special. And then lastly, I'm going to ask council for something. I'm going to ask, after feedback from the community on the installation of BC Hydro, by BC Hydro for replacement LED lights, can I ask council for the following motion? The council directs staff to write a letter to BC Hydro to share the community response to the current street lamp brightness and request alternative options that will reduce light pollution.
I would be happy.
Seconded by Councilor Ramadas. All in favor? Thank you.
I have a
Oh,
question
absolutely, sorry.
just,
I apologize.
before we jump to the vote.
Yeah.
Too late. Fair enough. I'm just curious, like, what the request actually would be entail and why, where this information is actually coming from.
Well, we've had a, can I fairly call it a considerable amount of community feedback as to the unnecessary brightness of the replacement street lamps, and I think it's been described to me as prison yard brightness. I don't want to comment on how that individual would know what that looks like, but that's so we've had a considerable amount of feedback through engineering, and I would just like to take a formal response from the city that are there other options that are. I've also had some feedback from somebody who lives south of town that when driving back to town, they never used to be able to see the glow of Fernie, and now they see it all the time. So it appears from anecdotal observation that it's increased our light pollution, and I feel in my neighborhood, the annex is considerably brighter than it was.
Thank you.
No, okay. All in favor then? Oh, we're all in favor. Great, thank you, Councilor. That concludes the business of the evening. We shall call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.